live?
Yeah, I think we are. All right. Welcome, everyone, to IoT Happy Hour, episode 25.
25. Whoa.
I am counting correctly. Let's give everyone a quick moment to get connected. This week, as you can see, we've got not one, but two guests joining us. We've got Sahaj and Robert down there below us. First, we'll do our own introductions. I'm David. I'm developer advocate at Balena, and I'll pass it over to that direction, I think. John, you over there? Uh-oh. John,
you're mute, John.
Hi, I'm John Tonello, technical marketing lead here at Balena in sunny Syracuse, New York.
Awesome. And Mark, you want to say hello?
Oh, hey, hello. This is Mark, developer advocate at Balena, based in Europe.
Yeah, so it's actually happy hour for you. The rest of us are all drinking.
Exactly, it's a real happy hour.
Coffee.
Not beer
I'm
yet,
in
but
Arizona. I'm in Phoenix, so it's 9 a.m. here. So it's not quite happy hour yet, but that's all right.
here it's 6 p.m. So yeah, just straight after the happy hour, I will go to get a real happy hour.
Okay, perfect. Robert, I see you down there drinking some coffee. You want to say hello and give an introduction?
Absolutely. How long do I have?
As long as you want.
I talk a lot. Yeah, so, hello, everyone. Okay. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm Robert Wolff, and at Fixer, usually anywhere on social media, you can find me there. I am a ecosystem developer evangelist for the infrastructure group at ARM. So we do a lot of basically relations with developers, looking for ways to enable our developers and looking for ways to provide them with channels and the stage to showcase the various things that they're working on. Prior to ARM, I worked at Linaro, so my ex-counterpart over here, Sahaj, ex-colleague of mine. Amazing times over there. We ran the 96 boards team, which builds all these cool single board computers that are SoC agnostic, ARM SoC agnostic, that do all sorts of really cool things. And I'm pretty sure Sahaj will show some of that stuff. Unfortunately, due to the current situation, all of my hardware is stuck in the ARM office, and I can't grab it yet.
Oh, so you're not going to have anything for our What's on Your Desk segment, but
I have that on my desk.
Okay, well we'll get to that. That's on your desk. All right.
Nice video gesturing, Robert.
Yeah, he is so good at that.
Yeah.
And Sahaj, you've actually been on the show before, but it's been a while. So let's have a quick reminder. Give us an intro.
Hey, I'm Sahaj. So I am the application engineer at 96 Boards, which also means I'm kind of the official maker there. And I do cool stuff, make the things, and sometimes documentation, sometimes not. Currently, I'm on vacation, so today what I'm going to show is not necessarily related to 96 board, but it's related to ARM, and we might announce another episode, which will be 96 boards related. So,
yeah, we'll do a proper 96 boards theme, but he's actually he's on holiday and still joining us. So, and Robert, like I said, I was actually gonna surprise you with a special guest appearance and sneak him in, but he's too quick. He got into the live stream. So, and Sahaj, I might have missed it, but where are you located?
Oh, I'm located in India, Delhi.
Yeah. So we have global coverage, and I see we've got a global audience today as well. Very cool. Well, wait a minute. What time is it there right now? 9:35 p.m.
Yeah.
Oh, that's happy hour. Absolutely. Yeah. You see how good I'm getting at my time zones for you, Sahaj?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I know he's got the 12 and a half hours from me. So
wait till the next time change. And
the time when it changes, it'll mess me up. It'll take me 5 months to figure it out again. Awesome. All right. Well, so normally we start off with a segment called What's on Your Desk, but that's going to actually be a significant talking point, at least for Robert and I. So we're going to skip for now Sahaj, I don't know. What do you have? Do you have anything that you can chat about on your desk, or is it all still kind of top secret over there?
Hold on. Should we introduce the section?
Yeah. Let's give a proper intro. Good idea.
Should I make it?
Get the video played.
Chris, please.
What's on your desk?
Chris couldn't be here today, so we just simulated him. We've gone virtual now. Awesome. All right, now we can go into it. Sahaj, you got anything over there?
So it's the board I'm going to talk about today, the Jetson Nano, and then I have a broken PCIe card, which is partially broken, but I'm very sad about it. Apart from that, there's not much on my desk because I did do a cleanup recently. So
yeah, you're on vacation, so you cleaned your desk.
But like my side desk has a lot of things, some of what I can't show.
I was just going to say, your desk might be clean, but the shelving and desk number 2, and it looks like perhaps maybe your floor actually has quite a bit of stuff on it. So
Look at this bad boy.
what is that thing?
Whoa.
Yeah, hold on. Let me zoom in. Put that back up. What is that thing?
It's just like an FPGA breakout thing, so I can test stuff.
It's just an FPGA breakout thing, right?
It's running a CPU ISA I created on my own. It's an 8-bit CPU inside there on an FPGA.
On an FPGA. Well, actually, we are going to do an FPGA episode in the near future. I don't know if we'll be able to sneak it in next week. It might be 2 weeks from now. But it would be interesting to have you in as a guest panelist for that episode, because we'll have some subject matter experts joining from Balena who are doing PhD work in FPGAs. So it'd be cool to
anywhere near that level.
well, that's all right. You'll at least know what questions to ask. I'm going to be way out of my element. So, all right. So let's take a quick glance over at chat real quick. I want to see if any questions have rolled in. For anyone watching, quick reminder: by all means, put your questions in. We will get them addressed and passed through to our guests. Mark and John, do you have anything interesting you want to show, or you want just Robert and I to show off what we've got?
John, you go first.
Yeah, I got nothing. I'm renovating my office, so everything is unplugged, and I feel really weird. Like all my everything is offline except I have my laptop, obviously, down in my kitchen.
Good spot for it.
But you do not want to see what's on my desk. It's
all right.
I'm disappointed that you don't have an iPod with you, huh?
Yeah, I put it in a box somewhere. I hope I can find it again.
All right, Mark, you got anything?
Yeah, sure. I have a new toy. Actually, I have a Rack 2287. Actually, new LoRa concentrator.
There you go. Put it back up so we can see. Oh yeah.
It's an MPCIe with a Raspberry Pi hat. Actually, this is the newest Rack LoRa concentrator. And actually, I have been fighting to connect these to the basic station that we have, that it works with a 2245. And we have to, we are hacking. We have been hacking with Rahul and some other people, the repository of the basic station to connect the newest Rack technology.
Cool. Is that, so you said what, 2287? Is that
2287, yeah.
available for purchase yet? Or is that still, you have an engineering sample, or is that's out there?
Since August, I think it's available on the internet, on the Rack website, and probably others distribution stores. But yeah, I got a sample from Rack, and trying to connect it to the Things Network and Helium. I will,
very cool.
I will tell more soon, hopefully.
Yeah, well, I look forward to that one. Yeah, we'll do an episode for that for sure. All right, so then let's get to what Robert and I have on our desks. Well, I have mine on my desk. Yours looks like it's up on a shelf back there, Robert, but I think that counts. Close enough. All right, now it's on your desk. I'm going to switch my camera, assuming this works.
But really, right now, because I've been doing videos literally since early in the morning,
Yep.
I have a beard brush on my desk.
Beard brush on your desk? Okay.
So I keep it, nice and kempt,
Okay, it's not super high tech, but does it connect to the Internet of Things? Is it an IoT beard brush?
No.
Not yet.
All right, I'll do Spark Fun stuff.
All right, so over to the Spark Fun stuff. Yeah, let me get my camera here. So we kind of did a sneak preview of this yesterday. The topic of the show today is all about ARM DevSummit, which is coming up October 6th through 8th. And we have a session there called Containers Over the Air, where we're going to be teaching people, attendees, how to deploy their first IoT device. And attendees are going to be using the hardware that's in this kit. So, Robert, your team, the ARM team, partnered with SparkFun to build these custom packs for attendees of the workshop. So I've got mine ready. Is yours ready to go? You ready to open it? See what's inside?
Oh, shoot. I'm already...
You're already unboxing. That's fine. He's ahead of the curve.
I'm already, I dove right in, yeah.
You dove right in. That's okay. So in here, what we can see is a Raspberry Pi 3 and a Raspberry Pi Sense Hat. So let's get these up on the camera real quick here. And I've specifically chosen the Pi 3 Model A for a couple of reasons. So let's get this opened up quick. The first reason is simply the size of the board. So here's a Raspberry Pi 3A, which most people are a little bit more familiar with the full-size Raspberry Pi, like this one here, this layout, that form factor. But the 3A is a little bit smaller. The other reason I went with the 3A is lower power consumption versus a Raspberry Pi 4. Because we're building an IoT device, I wanted to stick with the micro USB power supply as opposed to the USB-C and the smaller overall footprint as well. There's also, you'll notice, no Ethernet port on here. Because the workshop is titled Containers Over the Air, I didn't want people to cheat and hook up Ethernet. It has to go over the air. So the elimination of the Ethernet port on the 3A was really the selling point.
I can get a USB Ethernet dongle, man.
Yeah, I know you could do that, but I didn't want people cheating. So
these are the USB port.
Yeah. So now over here we've got a Sense Hat. And
so GPIO are still the same on A plus or B plus?
The pinouts, the pin headers are in fact the same.
Okay.
And now
same processor too, right?
Same processor as well, yeah. So the Sense Hat we'll make use of has a BME 280 on it. So we get pressure, humidity, and temperature right out of the box. It's also got an LED, RGB LED array on it, and it's got a joystick, and it's got a gyroscope as well, but we're not going to be making use of those. We're just talking about the environmental sensors on the Sense Hat. But when you snap it together, it fits right on. It's basically the same size. So
Nice.
I like this format. I like this form factor for the device. So this is going to be our first IoT endpoint, and we'll teach folks from start to finish how to deploy software, how to deploy containers to this little device. We've also got in the kit, I see down here, an SD card and a power supply. Obviously, we'll be needing those as well. All right, so let me bring the camera back off of me, and let's see. Robert, hold yours up. What do you got over there? Does it look the same?
I already put mine together.
You already put yours together? That's half of the workshop right there.
No, this thing is so cute. I mean, compared to the other Raspberry Pi, it's just so cute. Like, I love it. I mean, you lose several USB ports. Of course, like you mentioned, Ethernet, but I've never had one of these A+, so I think this is awesome.
Yeah, super cool.
It's nice and thin without those Ethernet ports.
It really is. I mean,
and double USBs.
Yeah.
I might have to get me some of those.
Yeah, exactly. So I like just simply the the size and shape of this as a device. So, all right. So let me do this real quick. I'll pull up the session. Let's get. Should have it here. Where is it? I'll drop this in chat as well. It's kind of a crazy long URL, but that's a direct link to the session. And kind of like I said, we are going to deploy containers using a project called Balena Sense. And it comes out of the box with everything you need to read the data from the Sense hat. And it'll render it and display it in a Grafana dashboard. So you get you get visualization out of the box as well. We'll go through every step of the way, what it looks like to build the container, push the container, and then gain access to that dashboard. I guess the hardware assembly is not too terribly difficult. That won't take too long, but yeah, it's going to be a good workshop.
Does that have air quality on it too? I can't remember.
It has. What it does is it uses, I guess you could say, a combination of the pressure and the temperature, humidity, and tries to gauge what air quality is like. So it does have an approximation of air quality, but the other way to go about getting air quality readings is actually reading particulates. So they make like CO2 sensors and other kinds of, carbon monoxide sensors and things like that. The Sense hat does not have those on it. So, air quality, it's not the most accurate assessment. You would have to add additional hardware and sensors for that, but it does do a pretty decent job of approximation, yes.
David, do you mind if I answer a question in the chat real quick?
Go right ahead. Did one sneak in while I had my camera over here? Yep. What snuck in on us?
No, well, this is from Arjit, who's asking whether or not they can still attend the workshop if they already have, or do they have to buy the hardware if they already have it? Can they attend it? Is there anything that we can, maybe do around that? So the quick answer is I don't know. But the longer answer is that I'm going to check, because I think that's just a really good question. If you already have this hardware and we don't have to go through the process of shipping it to you, buying it and shipping it to you, then I don't see why we couldn't add more people. But again, I'm not going to be able to answer that just yet. On another note, which I think is really cool, is we're doing our best to get as many of these sessions and workshops. After they're done, we'll record them and we're going to try to host them somewhere. So even if you didn't get to attend the live session, you hopefully will be able to watch it later and go through the workshop on your own and pause. And you have quick access to David and myself, so you can always ask us questions in Discord and stuff like that.
Yep. So that's perfect answer. I mean, if folks, and I guess, Robert, this is, more towards your side then, if folks already have the hardware, the Balena cloud side of the equation really is infinitely scalable. So, if folks do have it, they could certainly hop in to the workshop and follow along at home using their own equipment, we would want to think about how many folks we have in the workshop just to be able to, triage questions and moderate and, help teach people. But certainly there would not be a limit on the Balena cloud side of it. So yeah, Robert, if you want to follow up on that one.
It usually comes down to how many people can we really support in a live session, right? So, we're trying to offer, people are paying for this, and how many people can we really support and make sure that they have a great experience while going through this workshop? I think that's the most important part, and that's the number that we're looking at. But I mean, there's nothing stopping, like after Dev Summit is over and all this technology is still there. The A+ is still going to be around. These hats are still going to be around, and Balena is still going to be around. So there's all sorts of opportunities for us to get together and build out the workshop in another video, or we could do it live stream one day, right? So
absolutely, easy enough. So I dropped the link into chat for folks to check that out. But as much as I love our workshop, there are some other interesting ones out there as well. And Robert, I know that you've been curating some of the other content, and as again, as a developer evangelist over at ARM, I know that you've taken a deep dive and a good close look at a lot of the other sessions as well. I'm kind of curious to get your take, especially knowing that our audience and our community are developers, they're hackers, they're interested in ARM technologies across the spectrum. Are there some other ones out there that really caught your eye? And I'll bring up a screen share in just a moment, unless you've already got one that you want to.
I don't think I need to screen share. I think it's important to note, though, you can go see all of these workshops, sessions, technical sessions, keynotes, everything that's available at ARM DevSummit, because it's not just workshops. There's so much stuff. And the vast majority of this is free, right? So I don't know if you can throw up that link that I gave you all earlier, but if you go there, you can go register for free. You can sign up for all of this content. And there are only a select few workshops that cost money. And, I think this is why Arjit's question was so good, is because, the workshops that cost money, of course, include hardware with it, right? But there are other workshops on there that do not. And you can just attend virtually while also getting access to virtual developer platforms, right? Like AWS, among others. And so I want to say, can I give my little spiel?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, awesome.
And that's why you're on the show.
That's why we're here, man.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So I want to kind of comb through.
I'm dropping links into the chat so folks can click.
I want to kind of comb through a little bit about the difference between ARM DevSummit, this virtual event, and some other events that maybe you have experienced, and or events that you even experienced with ARM, right? So, traditionally, you've noticed, hopefully, over the last 15 years or so, there's been the ARM TechCon annually up in San Jose. It's an amazing event with so many industry experts from around the world coming in and giving sessions, technical sessions, outstanding keynotes. And so this year, just call it with the circumstance, and just because there has been a really strong new enthusiasm towards attracting software developers at ARM, that this new event has shifted from ARM TechCon to ARM DevSummit. And with this event, we're really hoping, and we're noticing now, that there are a lot of developers that are coming to this event that are in the software space. They're the ones who are enabling these chips. They're the ones who are enabling the applications for people to build on. And they're the ones who are enabling such innovation across the board, right? So who should attend ARM DevSummit? It kind of goes across the board, right? Like whoever you are, if you're in technology, attend ARM DevSummit. I mean, there's going to be something for you there. But in general, we're looking at software developers, hardware developers, chip designers, people who are in tech, and even business representatives, and of course, industry analysts, right? So this is on the website, but I'm just kind of trying to summarize it all here. There's something for everyone. Looking at the plethora of things that you can see there, and I'm looking at my list over here, but there's 8 total tracks. And I mean, I have notes on every single track. Like if you're interested in knowing more about a specific track, I can go into that, but there's 8 tracks, 80 plus sessions. I think it's closer to 100. So these are technical sessions and sponsored sessions where you can pretty much learn anything. Like I've said, 10 keynotes from people all the way from like Volkswagen, Microsoft, Netflix, and there goes my camera glitch. This happens every now and then.
I love it. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, but so amazing keynotes. Of course, a lot of keynotes from ARM as well, ARM representatives. Then we have 8 panels. So pretty much each track has a panel or some group presentation. Then we have 10 workshops. I think that this is great. And like I mentioned, a lot of the workshops are free.
Workshop, of course, is this one. Our workshop will be the best, obviously.
Yeah, this one will be one of the best.
9 others. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, and then some of these workshops are paired with what we're calling office hours. So you can go, I think it's either before or after, to get some additional support and time with these experts who are showing the workshops. And we have 3 innovation tech talks. These are also very interesting, and 9 ecosystem networking sessions. Now, you might not be familiar with that term, but very similar to like a BOF or a birds of a feather session. I'll be hosting 3 of those. And I know I've rattled on a lot. So if there's any questions, I mean, I could keep talking for a long time, but I've rattled on a lot. If you have any questions, that's the list of how much stuff there is. And I added all this up. That's over 130 things in 3 days. So like there's 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, October 6th, 7th, and 8th, 5 hours per day. And we fit 130 plus things to do in those 3 days. So that's pretty crazy.
Robert, I imagine that's an amazing array of stuff. One thing you didn't mention, I imagine too that ARM values the input from the developers in developing the next generation. So, it's a two-way thing, and taking part in events like yours are a good way to get your ideas heard and see them come into future iterations.
Absolutely. I mean, that's also why I'm here and why developer evangelists or developer advocates.
Right.
That's why we exist, right? Like I'll be at that event. I'll be attending sessions. I'll be supporting workshops. I'll be supporting these ecosystem chats, and I'll be listening. And so we want to hear from our developers, and we want to know how we can help and participate and collaborate in all of this enablement happening on ARM.
Yeah, the events team at ARM reached out to me about 6 months ago and did an interview to kind of like figure out what types of content. And it was, they were thinking about the pivot from ARM TechCon to ARM DevSummit, and they wanted to get my opinions on the matter. And I mean, obviously, I'm coming from a software perspective as opposed to like a marketing or business perspective. So I said, well, yeah, I would much rather have an ARM DevSummit. But keep in mind who you're asking. If you're going to go talk to a sales guy, they might tell you something different. But so yeah, definitely props to the events team for soliciting that kind of information and feedback. Yeah.
I mean, did you remember what was it like 2 years ago when we built that Extreme Edge solar container box, right? So the way I kind of picture this is, imagine that little kiosk that we had going on where you had all these really cool developer projects, the innovators, the ARM innovators that were building these cool things, right? Like things on ARM. And the way I picture this is kind of more of that, right? We're showcasing the amazing innovations that are happening on ARM, and then valuing and listening, and then of course contributing and finding ways for these developers to interact together and then build new things. And so, it was just very exciting. We saw this little kiosk at ARM TechCon, and now it's almost like that little kiosk is becoming a larger piece of the overall event, right? And that's the way I look at it. It's pretty cool.
It's interesting too, Robert, that if you're somebody who lives in the x86 64 world and you haven't worked with ARM much, it's come a long way in a short time. By that I mean, there was a time when, I have a Pi 3 and there's not much I can deploy on it, and that's not true anymore. that the innovation and capabilities, because of the developer community too. You have people that are building this stuff because people want to use and take advantage of all the advantage of ARM based and small form factor things. So those are the things I always like at a conference to go, oh, what I thought about is 3 years old. I'm behind the times, and I always avoided X, Y, and Z because I didn't think it was there yet. But that's the news factor is always valuable, I find.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like I can't wake up a day and check Twitter and not hear about some amazing announcement that's happening with some company and or developer doing something on ARM. Like it's every day, every single day, and it's like you said, it's just the evolution, big old hockey stick. It's so cool to see everyone doing all this development and innovation on ARM.
Now, I will say, though, that I do miss getting on an airplane to go to the physical event.
Come on, don't get me started. I miss traveling so much.
But, that actually reminded me, I was not looking too closely at our agenda that I had put together for this. And I forgot to ask you in the intro about where your favorite travel destination.
I did write a list for this. Are you interested? You still interested?
I absolutely am.
Okay.
It's only 9:32 local time. We still got 28 minutes, and I see Sahaj sitting down there. We got to leave him some time, but I want to know what your favorite was.
So they were the ones where Sahaj was there were my favorites.
You can saying that.
I actually put together a list of most of the international places I've gone, and then I kind of gave a little snippet as to why I thought that was my favorite for this particular thing. Yeah. So they're all my favorites, and then I picked one overall favorite that just kind of takes the cake on everything. But so I'll go down the list here real quick. Yeah. So Budapest, right? Okay. Budapest in Hungary, amazing, and for me, it had the best nightlife. And it might have just been because when I was there and the people I was with, we experienced the best nightlife. But that was where I had the best time after work. And even, during events and stuff, you go there and even after work is still work. You're talking business and everything while you're having beers, right? So that was by far the best nightlife. Then there's India. So I went to India, particularly Mumbai, Bombay area. And I want to say that was the most complex and intriguing experience. So if I were to pick one place to go back to immediately, it would probably be India, because I was the most intrigued at how complex it was. I wanted to just go see everything, and it felt that there were so many layers to it. And I only saw one little city. Like this was not even one of the bigger ones. So I wanted to see more, and I felt that I could have just spent 20 lifetimes there and never even seen half of it. So it was definitely that one. Hong Kong, most astonishing. Okay, so when I got to Hong Kong for the first time and I go out to the airport and I'm driving into the city, you see these big complexes, all right? And you feel like you're in the Blade Runner, like where flying cars are going to start flying through these buildings. It's just, you feel so small, but it's just awe. Your jaw just drops. Then when you get into the city, I think I was with Sahaj and Mani, the big buildings, each building has like a theme or a country theme. So we went to an India building, and then the first few floors, restaurants and stores that are all, Indian cultured, right? And so you move to the next one, and who knows where you are? You're in some other cultured building, which I just thought was super cool.
There's one very bad experience from Hong Kong, and I know Robert knows about it as well.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sahaj. Tell us the bad experience.
Duck tongues.
Duck tongue. That was the worst thing I've ever eaten in my life. They're cold. They're not warm. So you think you're going to eat a duck tongue. It's like, okay, maybe it's warm. Then it has a bone right through the middle. So you actually have to, pull a tongue out of the bone.
What's that? It's an insect or?
No, duck.
Duck. Okay, duck.
I can understand and appreciate any culture and any food that a nationality consumes, but I don't know if I can eat a duck tongue.
So I appreciate it. That's why I tried it, right? But did I like it? Not really. And there were 2 points that were brought up on this. One is, why would you kill an entire duck to eat their tongue?
Yeah.
But then someone was like, no, this is actually not that. It's the other side around. It's why let anything go to waste? And so you're eating the duck, why throw the tongue away?
The
right?
duck was also, I got you. Okay.
Yeah. So,
I liked the rice buns so much that they made up for the duck tongue. I'll go back for the rice buns.
It's like having fries with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad we were able to sneak that in. That I went back and checked my.
Wait, I still had five.
Oh, you still had five
more places.
Five more.
I'll go quick. I'll go quick
more.
on these, real quick.
He's
So
a global
Thailand,
traveler.
yeah, Thailand, most polarizing. You could be in the richest area and the poorest area as quick as possible. That was that one. London, I feel like it's the most civil, probably of all these areas. You know, everyone's polite everywhere, but this place just kind of felt like, and especially because I spent time in Cambridge, right, which is like a university town, so I just felt like that. Yeah. Montreal, most construction. I've never seen so much construction going on at one time. Every single road and bridge was under construction from my ride to the airport to the hotel. No joke.
Is that a permanent?
Vancouver is expensive, but it was also very diverse. I noticed there's just diversity everywhere in people. And then last one, and this is my favorite overall, I'll say Japan. I've been there twice, and I love Japan. Other than India, Japan is where I would like to go back again. If I wasn't seeing a new place, it would be Japan. I've only gotten to spend time in Tokyo, Yokohama, Akihabara, that area, and so I'd like to go see the whole island. But yeah.
Super cool.
Okay, now I'm done.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Thank you for that. I apologize. I wanted to sneak that in the beginning, but it's actually perhaps even a little better now after having a little more context of the type of work that you do. So,
is it wrong that now I'm hungry?
I
was thinking like, hey, I want Indian food. I want some Japanese. Yeah.
Well, let's prepare a balena ARM con in Japan in a couple of years when COVID-19 will disappear.
Ooh, I love it. I love the idea.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so I'm looking at the clock. We have talked about our workshop. We have talked about some of the reasons for ARM DevSummit. Robert, are there a couple of key workshops or sessions that you want to do a highlight of for about, we could probably spend 5-10 minutes on that and then let Sahaj take over for a quick demo that he's got prepared?
Absolutely, yeah. So if I may, what I'm going to kind of do here is I'm going to comb through the different tracks. So like I said, there's 8 tracks. And I'm going to point out a few things for each track. And then in some of the tracks that I'm going to point out some of the things I think you should see in some of the tracks. So starting off, track number 1, AI in the real world for development to deployment, or from development to deployment. This track is very much kind of like data scientists, ML software developer, hardware engineer based. But you're going to touch on things like cloud, machine learning frameworks, algorithms, neural networks, and machine learning at the edge. So when you go to this track, if this is kind of your interest, I think that you're going to find a lot of really good sessions there. I particularly, unfortunately, wasn't able to add any of those to my agenda because there were conflicts in the other things that I was going to be looking at. Another great track, which is the Building for IoT or Building the IoT, efficient, secure, and transformative software development. This is, I believe, where your workshop sits, David.
Yep, I think so.
And so I would definitely recommend signing up for David's workshop. That's one you're going to want to see. But on top of that, there's going to be a networking session with Massimo Bonzi. And if you're not familiar with who that is, he's one of the co-founders for Arduino. This guy is one of the coolest people to hear talk. And in a networking session, I believe you're going to even have an opportunity to ask questions and have a conversation with him. So if you haven't had a chance to hear Massimo Bonzi talk, or have you had a chance to, just like relate with him in a way like we're doing here on this call, I would suggest attending that one. The next one.
Massimo is really cool. Actually, the founder team of Arduino, they are really, really cool.
Oh yeah, so down to earth. Had opportunities to hear him talk on several occasions, including like keynotes at the AIoT Dev Summit last year and stuff like that. He's just real good to hear talk. So chip design and methodology. This is where kind of like you can feel the TechCon aspect of this event, where you're focused on where there's some IP stuff going on and chip design going on. So if you want some deep insight on design approaches, learning about the tooling that enables development software, stuff like that, you're going to want to check this one out. I believe there's also sessions that teach you how to develop coprocessors, SoCs, multiple CPUs, stuff like that. So definitely worth checking that one out. Number 4, we're halfway through. Cloud native developer experience. This is probably where the bulk of my sessions and sign up and workshops are going to be, in my networking sessions, because I just am all focused on cloud and edge and the software ecosystem. But this is everything cloud. So software development and hardware design are included in that, but everything cloud. One of the I think for me, one of the best keynotes to see, other than of course all of these other guest keynotes with and Simon himself, CEO of ARM, who's going to speak. Chris Berkey, who is the senior VP of infrastructure, will be diving into the cloud, right? So I think the keynote is called "Getting Inside the Cloud." I think this one's going to be a really good one. That's going to summarize basically a lot of the things that are going on in the ecosystem, right? So definitely worth checking that out. And then there's going to be a panel in this particular track that talks about Linux as firmware, continuous integration, and deployment or delivery, and then how this can be used for small to medium business segments. So a lot of stuff going on in that track. And then I'm not even mentioning like all of the amazing sessions around AWS, the Graviton 2 stuff, everything that's going on in this whole space around CI and CD being enabled on these server platforms. So cloud native is probably where I'll be spending a lot of my time. Number 5, creating the next generation of interactive experiences. So this kind of focuses on the mobile developer, right? So getting back to the grassroots mobile developer, content creation, how to, there's going to be like stuff on machine learning and augmented reality. So definitely one to check out. This is one of my, let's call it like passions, like one of my interests. Like I'm super interested in this stuff. So I'll probably be hanging out in some of these sessions. Definitely worth checking out. Infrastructure, modern computing. I'm almost done. There's I think 3 more. Infrastructure.
No,
modern
you're
computing.
good. We're good.
Okay, cool. Infrastructure, modern computing. This touches on high performance compute. So HPC, data centers, 5G network infrastructure, and edge computing. So another place where you'll probably find me hanging out is in one of these sessions, one of these workshops. I know there's some really good ones around. Here.
That's one of the areas that I find that most folks, I suppose in our audience who are traditionally IoT focused, ARM plays a big role in HPC. The top supercomputer in the world, based out of Japan, is actually an ARM design. So the most powerful HPC system on the planet is not an x86, it's an ARM chip. It's a Fujitsu A64FX. It's an amazing machine. It really is. So there's a lot of research and momentum in that space as well.
Yeah, if you go to the ARM YouTube channel, there's some videos on the Fugaku. That's the name of
That's
the
right.
The HPC he's talking about.
Yep.
And also you can learn more about the creator as well. Satoshi Matsumoto, I think his name is. I'm sorry if I messed that up.
Yeah, I can't recall.
Yeah, I think
Satoshi Matsumoto, I think that's his name. But yeah, you can look him up. He's also very active on Twitter as well. Maybe I can share that later in the chat. But
yeah, I'll drop it in. I'll go find it and drop it in. Yeah.
Cool. Last 2 here. I think this one is a very interesting one. And in fact, this will maybe resonate with you, David. But this is Tech for Global Goals. I'm really glad they added this track in. The world's largest to-do list. I think that's just amazing because what they're focused on here is how to use ARM or how to develop on ARM for good. Okay. And this will very, very likely touch on a lot of the things that have happened in the COVID world, post-pandemic. David, the stuff that you did with folding at home, Rosetta at home, and how to essentially crunch proteins. You too, Sahaj, actually.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what are you forgetting? Sahaj is on the stream. He did the hard work.
So these 2 guys right here, boom, they did a whole bunch of stuff for folding proteins on ARM. They formed this team called Crunch on ARM. I think you made it to the top 10 for that, right? Something like that, top 10.
Yep.
Amazing work. If maybe we could share that website too, but kudos to that. This track is going to touch on things like that. Did you want to show that?
No, I had in my hand my Jetson Nano, which did some of the original work on porting that code base. And now I know Sahaj has got one in his hands as well, which we're going to get to in a moment. But yeah, it's literally this Jetson Nano that did some of the original compilation for that work.
That'll have to go in the 2020 museum.
Museum, yeah, that's got to go to the Computer Hall of Fame. It's, yeah, that you're right, Robert. That totally resonates with me. Those of you who have seen some of my other previous hacks and projects, I love the stuff that Fran Baker supports out of ARM and Kate Callett supports out of ARM. Mark always teases me. I got Ed Miller's bear cam detection stuff working on, actually, because he Dockerized it. So I had that running on this Jetson Nano as well. Yeah, I love those kinds of projects that are tech for good.
It made me think of our guests, the bee people, who were using
Frederick,
amazingly small technology to map bee behavior with the intent of staving off extinction and improving the pollination aspects.
Yep.
Which and it's something that really wouldn't have been possible on something high powered, because a lot of that stuff is sitting out in the field, right? And it's that I think that's a great example too, because correct me if I'm wrong, David, but that was grant funded, or they had a large component of grant funding. We talk about commercial enterprises and weekend hackers and sort of everybody in between, but it's easy to forget the researchers who are using this technology in ways that don't necessarily have a profit motive, that are designed for research and for doing amazing things.
Absolutely.
Before.
That was Frederick from APIC.ai, APIC.ai, and
Totally cool.
that's a university project that's funded, government funded, and it's all about saving the bees so that they don't go extinct. And yeah, he's got Jetson Nanos with a camera sitting at the entrance to the beehive out in the countryside. You can't go stick a full server out there.
Yeah.
So,
that's an amazing project.
Yeah, it's a very recommendable chapter, of the IoT Happy Hour.
Yeah,
that's an amazing thing.
So awesome.
Right. Awesome.
Well, last one was just journey to autonomous, and this one is focused on automotive, smart manufacturing, robotics, mostly the industry sectors. And so this is a huge space, right? And it's a huge future. If you think about autonomous vehicles, autonomous automotives, right? So and factory lines. So I mean, watching Elon Musk, with the what is it, Neocortex? No, that's not it. His Neuralink, his Neuralink, where he's implanting this robot, like autonomously implants, cuts out a piece of your skull and autonomously implants a chip that then spits out some sensors and prods your brain, right? This is the future. How are we as humans going to trust this stuff to happen? By working on it together and collaborating and growing our knowledge around this sector, right? So the journey to autonomous is something that we are all participating in, like it or not, and might as well be a part of it. So this is I'm sure we'll have a lot of really great sessions. I know they have a panel or a group presentation going on there, and I think there's going to be a keynote as well. So there you have it.
Awesome.
Tracks with all sorts of really cool stuff.
Well, the automotive stuff is interesting. I recently saw a documentary about the Volkswagen plant, and they're currently at capacity of 800,000 cars a year, moving toward 1 million. Wow. And they talk about the number. They have 6,000 robots in that one facility, and some of our are on board. There's devices on on the machine, on the robot. Just an amazing array, right down to basically QR code sensors, so that the chassis and body assemblies meet at the right time on the assembly line for just in time. Things that wouldn't have been possible if you had a big tower computer somewhere sitting right. These are small. They have sensors and readers and everything else, and that's just the manufacturing side. Not before you even get into the car, which is amazing.
Whole different. The robotics and self-driving piece of the puzzle is there's a big future there for sure. So that's a good track as well, Robert.
Yeah, thank you for letting me explain all that and talk about it.
Yeah, very cool.
Well, every time you say 8-track, I'm thinking 70s rock.
yeah, not that kind of an 8-track. 8 tracks.
I'm thinking disco. I'm thinking Lou Rawls.
We don't know we're all too young. We don't know what you're talking about.
Dating myself.
I had a tape player. I had a Walkman, right? But shortly after the CD came out, so.
Well, little known fact of 8-track, it would cut songs in the middle. So like you'd be playing on that track when it would jump over to the next track within the device. It would do that manually, but it would chunk in the middle of a song.
Oh wow!
Because the track would end and it would need to skip to the next track. Wow, we've come a long way.
Yeah, we have come a long way.
I never had an 8-track. Just to be clear, I'm not.
Now he says, "Yeah, right."
That old.
And I'm complaining about a terabyte worth of space for my photos.
Yeah, exactly.
Try building Yocto. Terabyte. All right. Well, thank you, Robert. I definitely appreciate you taking the time to join us and going over that material. By all means, get registered. Especially, like you said earlier, the sessions are free. Some of the workshops do have fees because of the hardware involved, but I think some of them are actually free as well, if I remember correctly. So it's going to be an amazing opportunity to learn. And with that, Sahaj, what are you hacking on over there? We were going to try to sneak you in for a surprise, like I said earlier, but that's all right. What are you hacking? What are you up to over there?
So this is probably the most last minute decision I've made to jump on a call live.
That's all right.
But so I've been hacking on this bad boy right here. Ta-da! And there it is.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have the Jetson Nano. So I never really planned on ever buying this in my lifetime, but things happened. There were some announcements made, and I was like, "Hey, it's time to get a new trophy for that." Plus, David also.
What announcement do you mean?
There was some. David also kind of challenged me to do some PCIe voodoo with this. And so I decided to finally, budge in and buy one. My intent was never to run NVIDIA's OS on it. So what you will be seeing today is completely open source stuff. From the firmware onwards, this thing has a 16 megabyte flash. And it has like 20 or 30 partition of all weird sort of firmwares.
I noticed.
And that's on the SPI flash, not even on the main bootloader. So I've shared my screen and I'm going to power it on. So
all right, let me see if I can grab your screen share. So we're doing some live hacking.
Yeah, that's just it's just UART for the time being, but so boot it up, and that's the internal bootloader. And then quickly enough, the first stage bootloader comes up, and then now U-boot. So you can see this is actually not NVIDIA's U-boot. This is mainline U-boot, I think built by the Fedora, build system itself, because Fedora is working perfectly well on it, and that's like Fedora booting on it. So this is mainline kernel. There's no weirdry on it, and this is running Fedora 33, which is still in pre-release state, um, and they don't have. There's a little bit of fix for GNOME that's needed, so I don't have that dialed in, but everything else is working. And the GPU uses the open source drivers instead of the closed source drivers that NVIDIA provides. So it's using the Novio stuff, um,
Nice.
and just comes up in a few seconds. So again,
Yeah.
apart from U-boot onwards, it's all open source code.
So this is a world premiere. I mean, this is like you saw it first here on IoT Happy Hour.
What you have to do when you do something like that, you have to look at the camera and point at it and say, "You saw it first."
You saw it first.
You saw it first here.
I feel intimidated.
And
You're
yeah,
like
so
parents.
that's Fedora version 33. So I don't know if we'll have enough time, but I'll try to get some GUI stuff working.
Yeah, we can go a few minutes over. I am looking at the clock. Robert, I want to make sure that I am respectful of your time as well. If you need to drop off, we can, we can say goodbye, and I can have you exit out of the stream. We can go, Sahaj, we can probably go a couple minutes over. And I hear a pupper.
But let's see, because the only issue here is that it doesn't have an eMMC, and I don't have an SSD plugged in to the USB port, so it's off an SD card. So installation times are awful. Also, my dog's barking.
Yeah, I see that. I hear that. I hear that.
You just noticed?
Yeah, you just noticed right now?
He's curious.
Yeah, well, maybe that was an Amazon package showing up. That's what happens here.
At 10:30? Sure.
There's a delivery. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully not Amazon.
Yeah, hopefully not. Yeah.
Could be some to go.
Yeah, maybe its dinner has arrived.
Yeah, no outside food for us till the pandemic is over. The country is not doing too well.
Oh, yeah, you guys are still in pretty strict lockdown there, huh?
No, that's the problem. The lockdown is not strict at all. The cases are rising.
Interesting. All right. Well, while that is running, let me see if I can change the layout to include all of us plus that in a little bit more. No, I don't think I can.
Carlos is making a suggestion on the chat.
Jetson versus Pi.
Maybe that's
comparison.
Comparo. The happy hour.
Do a Jetson versus Pi comparo. Well, it's not entirely fair, but they have different purposes.
The Pi for 8 GB can actually fare well against the Jetson because of the extra RAM. The only issue with the Pi 4 8 GB is that it doesn't have enough channels, so it's an 8 gig of RAM on a low data bit width, which is I think it's 16 or 32, and it's only single channel, so the speeds are terribly slow. And what happens is that if again back to our COVID project, if I run Rosetta on it, the CPUs don't hit a complete 100%. They're like 98, 97. There's something holding them back, and that's because Rosetta runs four different tasks in parallel. So each task is single-threaded. Each task needs its own memory space, and it's all doing parallel memory operations. But if you run folding at home on the Pi 4, it runs great because folding at home runs a single task in multi-threaded mode. So it's the same memory space, and it can manage the memory much easier, and it also takes very little amount of memory folding at home. So yeah, not sure how the memory in the Jetson is configured, But if it's just about the size, then it might be the Pi might have some winning points. Also, the Pi has a better Cortex processor, core net. It's A72 versus A57 on this one.
The Jetson is it is
Yeah.
amazing. It's an amazing machine. And I was running Folder COVID on mine, and I accidentally, like, my arm went across the heatsink. I'm like, ouch, man.
Yeah. You need
That's why it has a fan header.
Put a
and you should
fan.
use
Yeah,
that
it's got a fan header. Probably should have warned you of that one. All right. Well, while you're hacking over there, Sahaj, I want to make sure I get a. Oh, okay. But I know Robert's got to run. He's got more meetings, more conversations lined up. So I want to make sure we get a proper thank you to him. Robert, let me bring you back onto the screen.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're back. You're back. Wake up.
Yeah. No, I mean, thank you very much for having me on the show. In fact, the meeting I have next is where we're working on creating some assets for the ARM software developer YouTube channel. So yeah, I mean, thank you very much for having me here. Again, I'd like to kind of reiterate, if you're not already registered to the ARM Dev Summit, go to ARM Dev Summit or devsummit.arm.com and register. If you aren't already following a lot of the stuff that we're doing in the ARM developer ecosystem, you can go follow us on Twitter, which is @ARM Software Dev. And then our YouTube channel is /C/ARM Software Developers. So we're kind of trying to keep that model going. And then I don't know, David, do we have a link to our Discord?
Let's see if
that'd be one interesting last thing to share here. So we have a Discord server called Developer Ecosystem. This is a great place to collaborate with developers around the world, very community driven. Yeah, so it's discord.gg/deveco, DEVECO. Almost messed that one up. But yeah, check us out all over the place. And if you have any questions, you can always find me in that Discord server or on my Twitter channel.
Right there.
Everyone on the call, appreciate you having me. Thank you for your time.
Cool.
And everyone watching. Everyone watching.
Thanks, Rob.
All right. We'll get you out of here.
Dev
See you
Summit.
later. All right.
How's it going?
So Xorg started. So I can actually, if you look at my camera, you can see the screen is working. But for some reason,
I let you manage the cameras, David.
No worries. Let me see here. Okay, there's the screen. Yep.
But Sahaj camera maybe.
Now wait a minute.
He's showing something.
Sahaj is. Hang on. Where is Sahaj? He has switched to a console. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Mesa demos didn't install what I wanted it to install.
We have lost his front-facing camera. That's okay.
So
Well, in the future, this Elon Musk project, the Neuralink, maybe we will talk like this. We will see like this, right?
Yeah, with the neural link, this is exactly how we're going to communicate. So.
We will miss these tick sounds.
We want to see his face anyway. This is way better. Oh, he's back. That view was way better. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened with Mesa itself. So I'm actually installing Mindtest, which is a game. It should give us a good look. Not sure if GL Mark II is available on Fedora natively. Oh, hey, it is. I think so.
Just for the audience, you are attempting to get a desktop up and running?
Well, so I have a basic desktop up and running, which is basically just the XTerm screen. So if I switch back to my HDMI output, And then if I do start X, it gives me like a terminal using XOR just fine. But for some reason, the GLX demo package doesn't seem to have installed. So I'm actually installing something that I can like show the GPU running with. So probably GL Mark II and something like that. So that might just take another minute or two.
If anyone knows that how to resolve what was the error, Sahaj? Let's do a call to the.
It might be something on Fedora's end because I did install Mesa demo, and Mesa demo should have GLX gear installed, but that doesn't show up.
Oh, here comes a bug report.
Here comes a bug report. But yeah, I'm running a beta version, so. Yep, SD cards are slow. Who knew?
Yeah, I knew.
Should have told me that.
Yeah, we actually kill a lot of SD cards around
Yeah,
here.
I imagine.
Obviously, we see reports of users incinerating SD cards on the forums because of Etcher, but the reliability that they are, produced with is not that great. I mean, they're pretty cheap. You get what you pay for, right? So.
Huh. Oh.
That's never a good thing. Huh.
There's some also issues with mind test. Oh god, this is live stream debugging. Oh,
Yeah.
We didn't talk about the gods of the demos today.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't say our prayers, and
Exactly.
this was kind of, bonus coverage for the episode anyway.
So just one last chance with GL Mark II. I just want to see something run, like some graphical thing. You're running a Jetson Nano. If you're not running demos,
There we go. Yeah.
yeah, there it is. Like if you're running an NVIDIA stuff and you're not running like spinning cubes or spinning horses, what's the use? Hey, that was fast. Right, let's try it. I'm switching over to the to my Neuralink cam.
Okay, bring up your Neuralink. Let's see if we get a spinning horse or a spinning cat here.
No, GLX version X something is required. What?
No.
Damn it.
No spinning cats. All right.
Wait,
That's okay.
is it just messing around with me? DNF install lib gl1-mesa. What was that with? Okay. Mesa DRI drivers or something like that.
It should pull in all of these.
It should, but like I've had more Mesa lib.
Another bug report.
I'm finding
Who's next to the airport?
Yeah, Sahaj is next to the airport.
kind of like it's still about 2 to 3 hours away. But,
2 to 3 hours away. That airplane sounded like it was right over your house.
Yeah. See, so like the DRI driver package wasn't installed for whatever reason, and I hope that fixes it.
All right. Well, this would be your last shot.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm filing a big fat bug report.
yeah.
Well, this is a classical that we will switch off and it will work, no?
Yeah, the moment, yeah.
Yeah, of
this is your
course.
last
Like,
shot.
hold on now. Sorry, we ended the broadcast.
That's like me last week where I was just about to
that's
end
right.
the Twilio IoT SIM card stream, and the very last second, all of a sudden it came online. John and Alan were like, well, I don't know what you did wrong. Ours worked fine.
If you are watching this not live but on YouTube, check the chapters on the YouTube, so you can
Yes.
go and see. You can see automatically
Yeah.
a spoiler if Sahaj made it or not.
Yeah. Or we just cut this section out. It's
Just call it. Just make it a separate series. Why did Sahaj never buy a Jetson Nano?
yeah. Live
Okay.
debugging, Carlo. Live debugging with Sahaj. That'd be a nice YouTube channel idea. I think he has one of those.
Big brother.
Let's see. Hey, nope. No.
All right.
Oh,
I think we may end in failure. That's all right. It's no problem.
I'm pretty sure, like, just in like as soon as the stream ends, as soon as we go offline, this will work.
I'm sure it will. It's probably working right now, and just because we're live.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
All right, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to close it out. I can assume that the moment I click end broadcast, this is actually going to work for him. But anything else, Mark or John?
No, it's everything fine.
Nope.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
So ARM DevSummit, like we said, is October 6th through 8th. Our workshop, Containers Over the Air, is on the 8th, and it's at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. No, wait, 9:30. Hold on. Let me double check. I believe 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. But I want to make sure that I have that correct. Let me grab that real quick to verify.
And remember, this is a paying session, but you will get the hardware that David showed you before.
Yes, that is correct. So it is a paid.
Scared.
Yeah, it is a paid session, but you do come away with the hardware to get the project up and running, and we'll build Balena Sense. So essentially at the end, you come away with a fully functioning IoT endpoint, your first IoT device. And I'll go into, because as a workshop, like I said, it'll be hands-on for the build, but informative and educational is really the purpose. So I'll go through, as part of the content, what it takes to build that Docker file, how to push the Docker file over the air, and then how to access the data coming off of the device. So yep, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time on Thursday, October 8th. All right, you guys, I'm going to close it out. Have a good rest of the day, everyone. And Sahaj, we'll check in with you in the future to see this thing working.
Nice to see your Neuralink, Sahaj.
Yeah. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good rest of the day.
Bye.